Why is Jamaica poor?
It's because politicians consistently spend more money than they raise in taxation, more money than they can possibly raise in taxation, most of which, in point of fact, they actually waste.
It's an embarrassing but inescapable truth about Jamaica most of the time. We're a complete mess. From arresting criminals to developing industries, diversifying exports, to simplifying taxes, creating wealth to erasing intolerance. Jamaica lags behind much of the world. Welcome back to Elite Jamaica, the place you come to learn about Jamaica and Jamaicans. If it's your first time joining me here, consider subscribing to the channel by clicking that red subscribe button. And do remember to turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon so you never miss any of my updates.
I'm on the mission. A mission.
Our GDP per capita is less than half the global average. According to the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, almost 1 in 3 men and 1 in 2 women in their early 20s can't find work. 40% of all the jobs in the country are in farming, fishing and car repair. Construction and tourism provide a quarter of the rest. And those odd-baked jobs pay about $11,500 Jamaican dollars a week, not enough to afford the cell phone or the computer to watch this video. What is a beautiful banana republic to do? 200 years ago, Jamaica was the richest colony in the British Empire, by a distance, and its citizens like Simon Taylor and Thomas Thistlewood, the most wealthy. Falmouth famously had running water before New York. How did we go from such prosperity in 1814 to such poverty today? Why is Jamaica so poor? It's the billion-dollar question, one the best and brightest social scientists have been chewing on for decades. Here's what the most influential living economist, Robert Lucas, has to say. Is there some action a government of India could take that would lead the Indian economy to grow like Indonesia? If so, what exactly? Once one starts to think about it, it is hard to think about anything else. Well, it's easy to know what makes a market healthy, just to write down what the first world does. Modern economists agree that balancing state budgets, suppressing inflation, allowing free trade, and investing in infrastructure is the way to go. But what's good for the country is not necessarily good for the government. In a democracy, where politicians only last a few years at the top, it makes more sense to spend as much as you can, protect the interests of powerful friends, and skimp on infrastructure apart from big, prestigious projects. Still, with selfish people in power everywhere, why do rich countries stay rich and poor countries stay poor?
Is because they're ridiculous, ineffective, ignorant politicians consistently spend more money than they can raise. And then they borrow, and they borrow, and...
In 2001, a Turkish economist, Daran Acemoglu, solved an amazing, disturbing piece of the puzzle. He discovered that he could predict the current GDP of 70 countries, including Jamaica, by looking at the mortality rate of white men in the 1800s. Wait, what? How in the name of Paul Bogle are those things even related? It turns out that wherever European colonizers survived in large numbers, like Australia and North America, they imported the rule of the law from home. But where they mostly succumbed to disease, like much of Africa and the West Indies, they didn't bother to set up strong institutions. Instead, they set a precedent of grab-and-go, short-term extractive policymaking that persists, like the viruses they feared to this very day. Out of many, one example: inefficient bureaucracies that encourage and even tolerate widespread corruption. Tim Arford, yet another economist, explains, development is thwarted because the rules and laws of the society do not encourage projects or businesses which would be to the common good. The small amount of education and technology and infrastructure in a country like Jamaica could be much better used if the society was organized to reward good productive ideas, but it is not. By contrast, America's patent system, effective courts, and venture capital paved the way, as much as the literal investment in highways for a good idea like FedEx to flourish. In turn, FedEx created the delivery network for Amazon, whose supercomputers now enable Netflix, and the virtuous cycle continues. This is all very depressing though, because it suggests that the problem of poverty operates on a scale larger than anyone's lifetime. That as a colonized people, we are predestined to struggle far past independence, and that we are our own worst enemy in implementing solutions. But depression is not despair. We have to find a way to align the short-term interests of our elected officials with the long-term interests of the economy. How to do that remains unanswered, but with the world's best and brightest on the job, it will probably only take like another 200 years. Thank you for joining me again, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video or you found it informative. Remember, you can subscribe to Elite Jamaica by clicking that red subscribe button and turn on notifications by clicking that blue bell icon so you will always receive my updates. Thank you for watching. I am Alex. Bless.
I'm on the mission.
A mission.
Today is the day. Start your ignition. Let's take it away.
All the way to the top.
We gotta